Tuned for further instructions.
Hey, yeah, we broke the ceiling. We going from broke to billions. Sex up next, yo, we partner.
And your children are.
This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. Stay tuned for further instructions.
Hey, yeah, we broke the ceiling. We going from broke to billions. Sex up next, yo, we partner pump. No vex for a hex, yeah, we locking it up. Post chain, no, we not in a rut. With a heart like Richard the Marcus, we best. I'm a day one sacrifice, yeah, we guess. And we going from broke to beast, we invest. Crypto, we grow with ease, we impressing. Free game, believe we been blessing. Streams with ease, X out all of the hate. Get hooked if you want, we just offering the bait. Early on, we could often relate how to navigate crypto and picking our route. It seemed hard, but we figured it out. Our team strong, so we saying be calm, this is what we about. We broke the ceiling. We going from broke to billions. Sex up next, yo, we partner pump. No vex for a hex, yeah, we locking it up. Post chain, no, we not in a rut. With a heart like Richard the Marcus, we best. I'm a day one sacrifice, yeah, we guess. And we going from broke to beast, we invested. Yeah, we broke the ceiling. We going from broke to billions. Sex up next, yo, we partner pump. No vex for a hex, yeah, we locking it up. Post chain, no, we not in a rut. With a heart like Richard the Marcus, we best. I'm a day one sacrifice, yeah, we guess. And we going from broke to beast, we invested. We're 4-5, we been flexing. 4-5, holding that Spanish. We alive and decentralized, we'll pin our own price. We holding that canvas. Run it up, we holding that ransom. If it's not your keys, not your crypto. Get low to hate in the air, cause we hold our own coins. We ain't staking a share. And we ain't playing it fair, we need billions. Going straight to the moon, don't need ceilings. Yeah, she fine as a whoop, don't need feelings. If she sweet, then some of these secrets reveal them. You could peep too, just come subscribe. It's Brandon B, yeah, coming alive. All the haters, we supposed to kill them. Going on this road from broke to billions. We broke the ceiling. We going from broke to billions. Sex up next, yo, we partner pump. No vex for a hex, yeah, we locking it up. Post chain, no, we not in a rut. With a heart like Richard the Marcus, we best. I'm a day one sacrifice, yeah, we guess. And we going from broke to beast, we invested. Yeah, we broke the ceiling. We going from broke to billions. Sex up next, yo, we partner pump. No vex for a hex, yeah, we locking it up. Post chain, no, we not in a rut. With a heart like Richard the Marcus, we best. I'm a day one sacrifice, yeah, we guess. And we going from broke to beast, we invested.
And your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only like 11 people alive on the 200-something crew, and the entire ship was rotting down to the waterline. That's destiny. That's will. That's striving. That's being a trailblazer and explorer. Going into space. Mathematics. Quantum mechanics. The secrets of the universe. It's all there. Life is firing with its beauty. It's incredible detail. Tuning into it. They want to shut your mind. Talking about Justin Bieber. It's pure evil. They're taking your intellect, your soul, and giving you Michael Jordan and Bieber. Unlock your human potential. Defeat the globalists who want to shatter your mind. Your doorway to perception. I want to see you truly live. I want to see you truly be who you are.
Folks, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Brandon B live stream. I have breaking news, important news that absolutely no one else in this crypto ecosystem has the balls, the intestinal fortitude, the whatever lining necessary in order to bring you this groundbreaking news, which I am now going to give you without further ado. For whatever reason, the lizard people at Tradingview have hidden the log function from Tradingview. So we are now no longer allowed to look at a log chart on Tradingview. This is obscene. This is a step too far, folks. The lizard people have taken so much from us. They've taken our savings. They've taken our savings potential, but they cannot take away the log chart from Tradingview. That is the only thing that allows us to cope with the 99% drop of Hex. And now without the log chart, how are we supposed to gaslight ourselves into make-believing like that drop wasn't horrendous. So, folks, if you are as distraught as I am, please let me know down in the comments below. I see AP saying, "Yeah, I'm out on." All right, well, we got one down. Let's see how many more we can get to. JB saying, "What's up? I'm coming before August 4th." After that, question mark, question mark. I think we take a downturn in August. Whether or not the highest of stakes is well received, potentially speaking. Kubrick Max, he's saying, "What up, Brandon? What up, everyone? Thank you very much for being here." On a more serious note, I do have some important stuff to comment on in today's live stream. I want to talk about the upcoming pumpening, folks. Right now, we're experiencing a dip, and this dip, I think, is a godsend. It is a gift from the heavens, from Richard Hart himself, the dear leader, he who is omnipotent, he who is all powerful, all knowing, he who is infallible. Our dear leader, Richard Hart, has given us this dip. And so, if you are a true believer in the cult and the religion, that is the RH tokens, magic, internet money, shekels, then you ought to be like me and potentially understand the significance of this dip. In that it's potentially one of the last ones, folks. Because look, guys, we're having a dip now. We're seeing dips with some cryptocurrencies on the network that I'll talk about, fiat time, that kind of stuff. But I want to make clear that at a certain point here, one of these dips is going to end up being one of the last ones before a major takeoff with Pulse Chain, before a major takeoff with Pulse X. So I'm not saying it's this dip we're experiencing right now, but it's going to be one of these dips, folks. One of these days, whether it's this month, next month, month after, quarter from now, we're going to have a major dip, and that's going to be the last dip before the run up. And something that I kind of hinted at with the thumbnail and the name of the live stream is something we've got to be cognizant of, is the fact that I think we might have a bit of a DeFi explosion happening here on Pulse Chain that might be what it takes to kickstart the volume. We'll take a look at the volume on the network here too in a minute. And it might be what it takes to kind of bring some attention, some volume, and some pumpage to the charts. Because, folks, what I'm alluding to is the fact that we're going to have the fiat platform, the Fame platform, Mintra, Liquid Loans, Power City, Internet Money Wallet, Mainnet. That shit's all going to be happening in the very, very near future here, next month or 2 or 3, within not this quarter, but a quarter from now, within the next 3-month period. We're going to get a shit ton of projects, protocols, products launching on Pulse Chain all around the similar time, folks. And if we get a bunch of these protocols, which you can do stuff happening and launching all at once, it's going to probably bring a lot more volume to the network, and volume translates into usage. Usage translates into bullish sentiment. Bullish sentiment translates into green candles. So, folks, in this live stream, we're going to be touching on some charts, what's going on with Pulse Chain, Pulse X, Hex, fiat time, some of the major updates with protocols launching on the ecosystem, and probably some more good stuff aside from that. So if you like the sound of that, folks, thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe, share the live stream, do all that good stuff. And for those of you who are humorless and have no sense of irony, if you can't tell, if you're like if you're like AP and have no sense of irony, this background is ironic and is funny and is not meant to be taken seriously, folks. So look, before we delve in, everyone like, sub, share the stream. Brand new channel, brand new stream. So every like, every sub, every share helps us tremendously. Now, let's see if I can share my screen here and get going. Alrighty. So, folks, let's begin by patting myself on the back, because I have been one of the few people speaking the loudest that I've seen. Maybe there's someone out there who's been making more noise than me, but I believe I don't think it's an unreasonable statement to say that I've been one of the most kind of optimistic, the most willing to describe the potential with time, with internet money for quite a long time. For those of you following me, from those of you who were even back in the A Million to the Moon days, or were back around during the sacrifice phases, I was saying that I thought this thing was one of the most undervalued things on Pulse Chain, not just because of the fact that Richard Hart wanting to do this use case next. Really, it's so funny, guys, how Richard Hart wanted to do this next. All the hacks can see the massive potential in that, and they're all FOMOing and foaming at the teeth to want to sacrifice for that. But if someone who isn't RH does this thing and is first to market with it, now everyone has forgotten it, and there's barely any hype behind it, and everyone's like, oh geez, I don't know, guys, I don't really know if this is gonna work out. But I saw the potential, I saw the value here. I saw that if these guys can just deliver on a working wallet that doesn't get hacked and just has cheaper fees than MetaMask and just redistributes those fees back to its token holders in the form of Pulse Chain, that there was going to be the potential for massive, massive, massive upside. Given, folks, most importantly, and I keep highlighting this. I remember making videos about this back during A Million to the Moon, where I talked about the most important things when it comes to investing. I made a whole series talking about what the several most important things are when it comes to being a successful investor. And one of those things I included was the extreme importance of getting in at a good valuation. Folks, listen up. It is not good enough to just buy something with product market fit, with great tokenomics, with great theory, with a great community, because if you FOMO into something like that at a top, at Hex, at 55-cent Hex, it doesn't matter how amazing Hex is at 55 cents, it was quite overbought, and we saw a 98, 99% correction since 55 cents. What matters is not only getting into something with good product market fit, good game theory, and good tokenomics, but what the second part that needs to be combined into that thesis in order for you, one, to actually hope of getting these crazy, crazy returns, is you need to pair that one understanding with that one important principle with the second most incredibly important principle, that being getting in at a good valuation. The valuation is everything. Buying something terrible at a great price can be highly profitable. Buying something fantastic at a bad price can be highly not profitable. The valuation is everything. And these internet money guys only raised $1.5 million during their sack raise. I think they had the most attractive sack raise out of everyone, because not only does this use case have such a high potential ceiling. I mean, we've seen Pepe meme coins valuations $700 million in a bear market. $700 million in a bear market. Fucking Pepe, a meme coin that just has a logo in front of it. Meanwhile, something with incredible product market fit, incredible game theory, something that Richard Hart says he wants to do next, $1.5 million valuation, just because it's not Richard Hart. Everyone's forgotten the opportunity. Well, you sure shit, folks, better be grateful that you follow my ass, because I sure shit did not forget the potential with this use case. Just because Richard Hart's face isn't attached to this does not mean that there's not potential. Doesn't mean that there's greater risk. I have no problem conceding to that. But I would still admit and argue that there is fantastic, fantastic potential here with time. And I've been screaming about this thing from the rooftops back when this thing had was in its consolidation phase. And if we could check the valuation, it was hovering around a 1.5, 1.6. I remember even $1.4 million valuation back when I was talking about it in this channel, in my Patreon group, link to that in the description below. And ever since then, it has had the most insane meteoric rise that I'm frankly surprised. I thought we were going to have to wait until the bull market 2 years from now, year and a half from now, to see these kinds of prices. But hell fucking no. From that screenshot I just showed you guys, we pumped 260%, 269%. We're currently up 143% from that screenshot. And if we check from the all-time lows here to the all-time high, that was nearly a 400% pump, nearly a 4x if we measure from the candle, 340%, so about like a 3.5x from the lows. And folks, the market cap, the valuation is still $4 million goddamn dollars. This is nothing. Utter complete nonsense reaches a couple $100 million in a bull market, I still think this thing has 100x potential within it. With that being said, this has pumped significantly. Thankfully, we're having a bit of a dump. We're having a bit of correction, folks. I was saying on Twitter while this thing was pumping, even though I was celebrating and being happy that I was right, we were right. We're up hundreds of percent on something and still super undervalued. I was trying my best at the same time. I also tweet that, hey guys, you want to buy red candles here, you want to buy dips, you don't want to chase pumps. So we're having a dip now. That's great. Whether or not we might have a further dip, let's comment on that in a moment here. But before I do, I just want to see what you guys are saying in the comments. I see JB is saying they only trust RH products. Some will see the performance and reliable security of Internet Money Wallet and still say, meh, the Internet Money Wallet team have delivered and it will catch on with more exposure and education. And guys, this is something you got to be aware. We've already seen, even if we grant to the community that Internet Money Wallet is always going to be second place to Richard Heart Wallet. And that's an open question because by the time Richard Heart does a sack raise, by the time he develops this, it's going to be the next bull market. It's going to be 2028, 2029 by the time Richard Heart comes out with his wallet. There is no way, with the amount of work still needing to be done on PulseX, on Pulse Chain, that Richard Heart's going to launch his sacrifice phase or his wallet anytime fucking soon. My guess as to what's going to happen with Richard Heart's wallet is that he's going to do a sack phase near the top of this next bull market, sometime like summer 2025, December 2025. And then he's going to do a 1 month long sack phase. He's going to do a year or two development. And he's going to launch that thing in the bear market 2027, 2028. That's my best guess. That's wild speculation, of course. But let's say that happens and come next bull market, Richard Heart's wallet gets more attention. Folks, we've seen how valuable second place contenders can be in this market. For example, Fux.io is currently the second most valuable exchange on Pulse Chain. It has TVL currently $43 million and is doing nearly $40 million a day in volume. And if we look at the chart, this thing is worth $61 million. And the token pumped from the lows to the highs, 829%. This is the second place DEX on Pulse Chain. Folks, second place, third place players in a major niche can still be insanely profitable, insanely valuable. So just as we've seen how the second place DEX has performed insanely well, I could imagine that the second place, even if we grant that, that's a fight to even get there. Internet Money Wallet is going to have years of being first to market and years of marketing and carving out a slice of the market for themselves. But let's say they do end up being second place, guys. Second place, third place, to a great idea, to a great niche with that's has the ability to address an insanely wide market is still insanely valuable. And again, what tipped me over the edge was really two things. The fact that time pays you a dividend in Pulse Chain, which greatly mitigates the risk, but also the valuation, guys. Liquid Loans is out here raising $50 million, 50. These guys raised 1.5 million. I think it was across 2 sacks. So that is goddamn nothing. That is super undervalued. And even after pumping hundreds of percent, we're still only at a $4 million valuation. Guys, Fiat and Fame, which I love, I think have plenty of upside, they raised 10-15 million. Mincha raised 10 million. Liquid Loans raised 50 million. So even after Power City, I think they raised around 10 million. I forget. So even after hundreds of percent pumping, this is still more undervalued than all the other major protocols who did sacrifice phases on Pulse Chain. After pumping hundreds of percent, this thing is still undervalued compared to its peers. It's still at a smaller valuation. Folks, Pepe is at a $700 million valuation in a bear market. That thing's going to probably 10x, maybe 20x, 30x in the bull. So if a fucking meme, if a logo of a frog can reach a valuation in the billions, tens of billions potentially, why the fuck could a logo of Internet Money, guys, they have such a fucking amazing name, And as long as they fucking deliver a wallet that doesn't get hacked, as long as they don't get hacked, that's literally the bar. The bar for this thing to do well long term is deliver a working product and not get hacked. If these guys do that, there is insane potential long term. And again, with all this bullishness, I need to of course, bring in the caveat for perhaps you new viewers who don't know me as well. While I say all this, I also attempt, whenever speaking on this issue, to reiterate the fact that even though I am bullish on these non-Richard Hart tokens, a few of them that I'll mention in this live stream, I still think that these non-Richard Hart tokens are higher risk. They may be higher reward, but they're also higher risk. And because of that, I only allocate a couple percentage points, 2, 3, 5, 10%. Like that's what I choose to do. If you're interested in my percentage portfolio breakdown, there's a link to join my Patreon, my VIP Discord group down in the description below where I share that kind of information. But I only choose to allocate, again, those small percentage points. The bulk of my portfolio, the majority of my portfolio by a lot is Pulse Chain, PulseX, and Hex, because those are the more relatively safer, more relatively, like, what's the right way of doing this? Because outside our ecosystem, this sounds funny to put it to state these things as safe. But within our kind of context, I would argue that Pulse Chain, PulseX, and Hex is safer compared to some of these things like Time, like Pulse Chain, like Fiat, like Fox. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Eventus7101 is saying, I like your channel, Brandon, but maybe consider not being so strong with the trans ideology. Most think this is a crypto channel. This is a crypto channel, and guys, I'm not serious about that stuff. It's just kind of lighthearted, something fun. But I understand. I'm not at all serious about that stuff, guys. Like I honestly thought that with being like so absurd, people would like realize that it's a joke. But like no one is fucking realizing that this shit's a joke. Like I'm always having to clarify that I'm just joking about this stuff. So yeah, it is what it is. Have you checked out 9inch? I have checked out 9inch, but in my opinion, guys, I don't know. What I liked about 9inch was the fact that they had single-side staking pools. But last I checked, you have to pay a 4% fee to get an allocation to those staking single-side staking pools, and you earn, I believe, their native DEX token. So yeah, that's 4% is a lot, guys. It is a lot. You have to be locked up for weeks, if not months, in order to break even. So I'm not a big fan of that. Given the fact that we may end up having single-side staking for PulseX pretty soon, I frankly just rather hold my tokens on PulseX, frankly, for the potential single-side staking. And when it comes to liquidity providing, Fux is kind of number 2, but it's in a sense kind of number 1 for the non-RH cryptocurrencies, because with like the non-RH cryptos, Fiat, we have the Alex Hadron and Icosa stuff. We have the Maximus DAO pools here. We have Time. Time is killing it. Look, folks, Time is all over the fucking front page here on Fux. This is kind of the go-to for non-RH cryptocurrencies with the second most volume. So you got to ask yourself, why go to the third, most volume DEX? And I suppose their angles they're kind of going for meme coins. And if you're going for meme coins, then I suppose they would have better liquidity there. But I'm not really a meme coin guy. So even though I think 9inch is cool for having single-side staking pools, I think that 4% fee is far too large. Far too large. The 4% is quite fucking significant, guys. Like you got to stake Hex for nearly 6 months to get 5. Because I know for the base pools, the Maximus DAO base pool, they're earning about 10% a year. So after 10% is 5, 6 months, 5-6 months. So you have to stake your Hex 5-6 months to get 4%. That's quite significant. And to earn some token that's insanely volatile, that who knows whether or not it'll outperform or even perform comparably. I think that risk is too high, frankly. And if you're going for meme coins, then it might make sense. But anything other than meme coins, I'm not sure why I would use 9inch personally. Hey, Ron is saying, love it. And those buying right now are going to make it. I think so. Folks, I've been buying the dip personally. Some aren't, considering that even small investments in time can have future savings. with transaction fees as Pulse Chain fees increase over time. That's something else, folks. The fees you get in Pulse Chain for holding the time token in the Internet Money wallet only increase over time. My pronoun is daddy. My wife says it every time. Wow, that is brave and powerful. Slay Queen. Slay Queen. By the way, I'm incredibly disappointed that absolutely none of you have left your preferred gender pronouns in the comments. What a hateful, bigoted audience I have, folks. My pronouns, as you all know, first of all, my neo pronouns are otherkin. I just gotta make sure. I'm looking at my Twitter. If you want to know my preferred pronouns, they're in my Twitter bio. So my neo pronouns are otherkin, and my animal alter is falcon. So those are my pronouns, folks. Slay a Ron for having the bravery for sharing that stuff. I'm glad you were just joking about that stuff. Of course, guys. Like, I don't know how absurd I have to be to make it obvious that I'm kidding. Okay, folks. What else did I want to bring up? Bitcoin halvings. I can't find the log chart. Let's take a look at this. What happened here? This app is experiencing an error. So, folks, looking at this ecosystem, I want to point out that Decimus, as I've been saying in live streams, as I've been saying in pools, is at an extreme discount to Hex. I mean, Hex is hovering just under 2 cents, while Deci is fucking like what, 80-70% below 2 cents here. About that. Like, guys, this is a massive, massive, massive potential arbitrage opportunity if Deci and Hex ever reach parity. That is an open question. We don't know for sure. Looking at the trading volume, it's steadily increasing, although the volume in general has been pretty dead on Pulse Chain. And guys, this is partly why I wanted to bring up this this whole live stream, because I think this is going to change in the very near future. We've seen how the volume has been consolidating and moving down, turning down on Pulse Chain. But I think once we get things like liquid loans, things like Mintra, things like Power City, things like the Internet Money Wallet mainnet come out, that is going to increase volume on this network. And guys, look, a lot of this shit is coming out all at once very, very soon. We're going to have liquid loans. We're going to have fiat. We're going to have Fame. We're going to have Mintra. We're going to have Internet Money mainnet. What else am I missing? Fame. Power City. A lot of this stuff is all going to launch around the same time. And folks, once people have shit to do, I bet you we're going to see that volume start to take up, and volume, is one very important contributing factor when it comes to the potential price performance of Pulse Chain. So why don't we just hear out some major news with Liquid Loans team very, very briefly here. I just want to make sure that we are indeed sharing audio. Yeah, hold on one second. All right. Let's take a look at what they're saying.
We're really excited to sort of announce that our audit has concluded. One thing that we weren't expecting at the time that we made that sort of commitment was the fact that we do need to actually also look at auditing the fetch contracts. But I don't think this market's exactly a booming market. And I guess you'd only have to look at things like trading volumes for things like Pulse, for example. Having said that, though, there is a broader community here. And so what we're looking to build at the moment is a nice UI to help people to, for example, stake the tokens that they may actually receive in the future. Hey guys, it's Crypto Crazy here. Thanks for joining me. Wanted to give you a bit of an update in terms of where things are at from a development point of view. We're really excited to sort of announce that our audit has concluded. So we're very, very happy with the outcome of the audit. So Halborn and their team have been fantastic. And
all right, so that's what I wanted to comment on. Guys, a lot of these teams are waiting on kind of final audits in order to launch. And from what I'm seeing in the telegrams, from what I'm seeing on Twitter, all these guys are pretty much saying the same goddamn thing at this point. A month or two, or maybe 3. I think within the next quarter here, we're going to see all these guys launch. Like, when one of these guys launch, everyone else is going to have like a fucking fire lit under their ass to launch as well. And so we're going to see all these guys launching around the same time. And I think that's the bullish catalyst needed to really kind of see the next major leg up with Pulse Chain, at least potentially. Now, if we take a look at the chart, Oh, by the way, before I go on to kind of comment on like the dip and all this good stuff, I did see Davis. Shout out to Davis. I've seen Davis in the live streams pretty often. So shout out to you, man. He likes to poke a little bit of fun of me, saying here for the paid group alpha. And folks, I'm here to state that because of the paid group alpha, and if the fucking SEC or tax people are listening to me, what I'm about to say is a joke. I'm not serious about this. I don't mean this. I'm speaking in a purely theoretical, comical sort of fashion. If tax people are listening to what I'm about to say, so given that, I've thankfully, due to what I've been up to in my paid group, increased my pulse chain position by 100%. I've doubled my pulse chain bag, given the recent theoretical trades I've been making in my paid group, my evil paid group. Because folks, in my evil paid group, I've been calling the pumps and the dumps so stupidly fucking perfectly that I'm frankly surprised at how well I've been calling the shit myself. So, given this this dump over here, this is where Richard Hart, around this area, is where Richard Hart was spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt over the future of PulseX. And so I was thinking to myself that, hey, look, the founder is spreading FUD over his own project. I highly doubt we're going to get another FUD event worse than this to cause the price to dip even further. And so I bought the dip right around here, and then I sold the retest of the average day one sack rate because that was kind of fucking obvious level, average day one sack rate. And then I accumulated again at this consolidation range here. And then I sold all throughout this pump here, but my average sell price was here kind of 0.001188 was my average sell price, that line. And now I've started to dollar cost average back into Pulse Chain here at this green line at about kind of 0.001065. And with all these moves, I'm glad to announce that I've now actually more than doubled, slightly more than doubled my pulse chain position, thanks to the completely theoretical trades I've been taking and sharing in my evil paid group. Link for that down in the description below. So I'm kind of happy to admit, because I've been calling this shit so fucking stupidly well. For those of you who remember all that FUD, I was live tweeting that buy, and then the average day one sack rate was such a fucking obvious sell. And then there's a bit of consolidation here. I was, noticing consolidation. I was like, we're not breaking down. I bought. And then, and then over here is when we got the most overbought on the 4-hour RSI. And that's what I've been using, folks. The most overbought on the 4-hour RSI, 8-hour and 12-hour. So I was like, okay, we're the most fucking overbought we've ever been in our history. I started taking profits, and just now I've started dollar cost averaging back in. So by the end of it, I'll actually have more than doubled my pulse chain bag, because I still have dry powder. I've only deployed half of my dry powder at this level. So I still have, a little more than half. So I have about maybe 45% left of my dry powder to accumulate a further dip. So what I'm doing, folks, is I've frankly been doing all of this based off the 4-hour RSI. So you see this level right here, oversold 4-hour RSI, I bought. You see the day one sack rate over here, just happened to coincide with us being overbought, fucking sell right there. This consolidation over here, we didn't quite reach the oversold territory, but we were consolidating, so I bought there. And then over here, around these regions, when we were entering the overbought territory on the 4-hour RSI, I was selling all throughout these regions. My average sell was at that red line right there. And now that we're kind of approaching, getting close to these oversold regions, once again, I've started dollar cost averaging. And the only reason why I blew my wad this early, I was actually hoping to kind of wait longer, is because I'm actually frankly surprised at how incredibly well I've been calling this. And whenever you're on a winning streak, it's inevitable that you're gonna fuck up. Like, I've been calling this so well in my paid group. Like I said, I've managed to double my pulse chain position over the course of a couple weeks or something, 2-3 weeks, 2 weeks ish. Whatever, since the kind of 20th of June, I've managed to double my pulse chain position. And because of that, I don't mind fucking taking a bit of that win. Like, I believe I managed to get like on this move like 10-18% more on my pulse chain so far. So my point is, take a win. When you're up, you want to realize some of those wins. So that's kind of good to see. So yeah, thank you, Davis, for bringing up my evil paid group. Link for that down description below. EW1 saying, what time frame for these launches? I believe I answered that question, but around 1, 2, 3 months. Like all these guys are saying 1, 2 months from now. This is what I got out of Liquid Loans launch, 1 or 2 months, pretty much. I saw this video. It's good. Got about another month, 1 or 2 months at best, probably October. I can see a big move happening then. Yeah, now soon. Absolutely nice move. I'm selling my boat right now to buy some more. Hey, man, not a bad idea. I mean, I sold my car. I fucking sold my everything to buy this shit. And so I think it'll most definitely work out long term. And so, like I mentioned, folks, we are experiencing a dip here. We are currently on support with this sideways consolidation. I frankly think that there's not an impossible chance that we retest the average day one sack rate. That's where I'm looking to deploy the rest of my dry powder. If we retest the average day one sack rate, kind of triple zeros and a 1, or you're even like fucking slightly above, that's where I'm going to kind of deploy my dry powder. Like, I'll probably wouldn't wait for exactly then. I'd probably like deploy it like fucking like here or something, right? Just kind of front run it a little bit. And even if we end up doing, something like fucking this, where we dip below it and then take off, that's fucking fine, guys. The point is to not fucking buy a perfect bottom or a perfect top. The point is, if you can just identify, oversold regions. Hey, the founder is fudding his own fucking decks. I think it's pretty fucking oversold. I can't think of another catalyst even more bearish than that would drive us down further. Obvious buy opportunity. And what do? We fucking pump. And where do we pump to? An obvious fucking resistance level. The average day one sack rate. Consolidate, pump up, average day one sack rate, break up, come back down and retest it, hold that support, pump up again. We become the most overbought we have in our fucking history. And whenever we reach one extreme, we always have to go and test the other extreme. This is fucking technical analysis 101. And that's why I was fucking selling up there. And now I've managed to buy, at the very least, a 10, at least kind of like a 10% dip here, 10.3% dip on Pulse Chain. If we test the average day one sack rate again, that'll end up being kind of a 15% dip. That's pretty fucking good, folks. People wait 1 or 2 years to get a 15% return in the stock market. And meanwhile, I got that in the course of a fucking couple days. So those are pretty fucking good returns, guys. And again, just to let you guys in on what I've been using, the main fucking thing I've been using to kind of do these moves is the 4-hour RSI. 4-hour RSI paired with some pretty fucking obvious support or resistance levels. Like the day one average sack rate's a pretty fucking obvious level. Resistance here, support here, come back down. We're probably going to find support here, even if we kind of wick below, whatever, right? Like these are kind of some obvious levels, plus bullish sentiment, right? Like if we look back to time, when time was just fucking skyrocketing, going to the moon, going parabolic, everyone fucking on Twitter is losing their minds. Everyone's getting like 200 likes, 100 retweets on every fucking time tweet. Maybe that's not the best time to be buying. But if you fucking tweet about time right now, which I haven't recently, I'm not getting a lot of engagement. There's a little bit of a dip, and then hey, maybe that's the fucking time to buy, right? So what I'm kind of looking for, not fucking financial advice, folks, is if we get that little bit more of a correction, I'm hoping, which we might not get, if we enter that kind of oversold region on the 4-hour RSI, kind of around the average day one sack rate is where I'm looking to deploy the rest of my dry powder. And kind of same thing with Pulse X. Like wherever Pulse X ends up being, my intuition would fucking lead me to think, somewhere kind of over here, like around these kind of tops. If Pulse X, dips a little bit further there, might be a reasonable place to dollar cost average. But frankly, I'm just waiting for Pulse Chain to get fucking close to that day one average sack rate. Once we get close to that day one average sack rate, it might not even happen, which is why I'm dollar cost averaging now. But if we do, that's where I'm buying. And that's where I'll buy Pulse X. That's where I would buy time, fiat, whatever the fuck you're interested in. It's not financial advice. I'm just sharing my fucking thoughts here, folks. Do not crucify me. Now let's see what's going on with the hex chart. Okay, yeah, so here with Hex 2, I did an extremely good job of selling the top on Hex. And again, guys, purely theoretical. I'm kind of just joking. I'm talking about this like in a what I would have done theoretically, just in case, you know, any agencies are listening. I'm speaking in a kind of purely theoretical fashion as to what I would have done, not what I did. So what I would have done in the theoretical world is take profits on my hex here and buy back in over here, increasing my position by about 15%. That's not bad, even though we dipped further. The point is not to buy every fucking perfect bottom. You know, 15% dip is good fucking enough for me. And so right now it's kind of an obvious support level for hex. If I had any more dry powder that wasn't already allocated towards something else, I'd buy perhaps a little bit more here, and then a little bit more at this support level, and a little bit more at this support level, kind of around 1.8 and then 1.5 if we kind of break below where we are currently, which if Pulse Chain breaks down further from where it's at, is not impossible with Hex to kind of fall to around the kind of this 1.8 region, which is where I would start dollar cost average. Now, something else here. Another cryptocurrency I've been screaming from the rooftops as having potential is fiat. I've been talking about this for quite some time, ever since we were around the 30-cent region. I've been making quite a bit of noise. And from the 30-cent region, if we measure from kind of the top of that range, we pumped, 50%. 50%'s pretty fucking respectable. Now, what happened with fiat, which we didn't have with time, is time managed to break above its major resistance level over here. You see? We had a bit of consolidation around there, but we fucking broke above. Now with fiat did not manage to break above its major resistance. You see how we had support here and resistance here? Wouldn't you fucking know it? That's exactly where we got rejected off of. So something I would like to see is Pulse Chain having a bit of a correction, consolidation, and maintaining support here. And if we do get that, what might happen with our dear beloved fiat here? I could imagine something like this happening, a bit more of a falling down. Maybe we retest this region here, form something like this. And if we form, folks, a cup and handle, a cup and handle is stupidly fucking bullish, because typically we pump the height of the fucking cup, which could lead us to maybe a 70% fiat. Maybe not. This is all wild speculation. We're just having fun, kind of reading the tea leaves together. But I'm just kind of trying to be reasonable here, right? Like if Pulse Chain does indeed have that little bit of a leg down, and we understand this is an obvious support level, and if we find support here, well, what could that do to the altcoins, right? That means the altcoins could have a little bit more of a breakdown, right? A little bit more of a breakdown. Maybe once Pulse Chain finds support, we consolidate. And then if Pulse Chain finds support at the day one average sack range starts to take off, then maybe the altcoins could take off as well. And what would that fucking pattern look like? It would look like a cup and handle, and cup and handles again. Take the height of the cup, move to the breakout point, and we have a thesis for 70-cent fiat, right? So not financial advice, but I like to buy dips, folks. Do not fucking chase green candles. Whether this happens, whether this plays out in the short term or not, I think long term, things like fiat, things like time, for myself, warrant diversifying a couple of percentage points, given the fact that fiat might launch in the next month or two, where you can stake the fiat token and earn Pulse Chain, earn some other shit. I don't know. I think it's cool enough to throw a couple percentage points personally. Kubrick Maxi is saying, do you buy Bitcoin, Brando? Absolutely fucking not. I have some self-respect. I would never buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin is disgusting. Bitcoin is a coin for boomers and losers and people who do not like making money. The only fucking reason that you would buy Bitcoin is if you're so fucking stupid and so thoroughly uninterested and incurious about finding a superior investment opportunity, that you were just extremely lazy and just want to, you heard kind of crypto's cool and you want to park your money somewhere and not lose it. Yeah, then you would buy Bitcoin. Or if you're so obscenely rich and you have tens of billions of dollars to deploy where liquidity becomes a concern for you, then yeah, then Bitcoin's kind of your option. But unless you're completely, incurious about, or unwilling to make larger returns, if you don't care about making money, then then Bitcoin's a great choice for you. Or if you have tens of billions of dollars to deploy and liquidity is an issue for you, then Bitcoin it might be a good choice for you. But I would argue that even in that case, it is still an extremely stupid choice, because you could easily deploy all that money into Ethereum, and Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin, or has an extremely high chance of outperforming Bitcoin, and is pretty much just as fucking liquid as it. It's only slightly less liquid. So anyone putting the money in Bitcoin is, in my opinion, a moron, only because there's a very, very obvious superior return on investment play right next to it called Ethereum. And maybe you like proof of work better. Maybe you like the security of Bitcoin better. If you like Bitcoin philosophically more, I understand. In that case, I wouldn't call you stupid. I would just call you wrong. But if you're the least bit concerned with return on investment, and that's your primary consideration, deploying money into Bitcoin, frankly, means you're a moron, because Ethereum, in my opinion, is just as safe. It's just as liquid, and it has an extremely high chance of outperforming Bitcoin. So why would you buy the thing that's just as safe, but it'll perform worse? It doesn't make any sense. You go to Bitcoin if you want safety or liquidity. Ethereum has both those things, plus it'll outperform. So unless you philosophically like Bitcoin and like the idea of proof of work, it's fucking stupid to put your money in Bitcoin if what you're interested in is return on investment. If you're not interested in that and you just like the meme of Bitcoin, then I wouldn't call you that. I wouldn't call you stupid. But if you are investing with the intention of getting a higher return on your investment and you choose Bitcoin over Ethereum, you're stupid, because Ethereum's just safe, just liquid. Excuse me. And it's highly likely to outperform. AP saying, I'm back, subbed again, never unsubbed. I was joking. Oh, how dare you? How dare you, AP? By the way, I've noticed that absolutely no one has left their preferred gender pronouns in the comments. Folks, look, for those of you who may not know, I'm collaborating with the Central Intelligence Agency, and it's very important that we get lists of people. We list people properly for the upcoming civil wars. So it's very important that you very publicly let people know what your preferred gender pronouns are. That way the government has an easier time kind of categorizing you. So I highly implore you guys to kind of share your preferred gender pronouns. If you can, that'd be swell. Thank you. What else did I have in mind? So Mintra, folks. Mintra, very thankfully, is looking like less and less of a rug pull day by day, because finally Gerardo and the Mintra team has kind of poked their heads out after years of silence, and did a kind of Twitter space, and is now showing improvements and progress with their NFT marketplace, which is a good thing. I like to poke fun at them because they were kind of missing in action, and they were kind of just like gone and nowhere to be found. But the fact that they're kind of turning that around, the fact that they're now showing progress, is a good thing. I did sacrifice for Mintra very, very little, but I did sacrifice some. And so it's a good thing to see them kind of making progress, looking like they're going to launch, which is a good sign. Power City, folks, is also pumping out updates. Major Portal X swap update, core update is now available since mid-April 2023 on Pulse Chain Testnet, Earn Protocol, Pixel Park NFT Marketplace. Good stuff. Internet Money is also putting out some updates. And so, guys, we're starting to see final audits. We're starting to see final user interface changes. We're starting to see final kind of development changes, audit stuff with a lot of these products launching on Pulse Chain. And they're all very likely to launch around the same time. So, folks, if we're getting a major dip right before we see a lot of shit launching on Pulse Chain, then that shit launching on Pulse Chain is likely to increase the volume. And if we have more movement, more volume, more improvement in sentiment, more people actually using the network, we get more buy and burn, we got more burn, we got more green candles. So, folks, again, while we don't know how many more dips are in the game, I want to make it clear that in the near future, one of these major dips are going to be the last ones before we take off. Like, guys, the Bitcoin halving is, coming up next year, March next year. I still think the Bitcoin halving is relevant personally. And then we have a bull market come 2025. So, guys, look, there's only a handful, there's only a finite amount of dips in this game before we start getting catalysts and before we start to pump. So, like I mentioned, I've started to dollar cost average my way back into this market. I've told you the areas I think are relevant that we might hit. And in terms of progress, yeah, I think that's kind of pretty much what I had on my mind that I wanted to share that I think is kind of worthwhile. Until then, like how much pulse chain can you get for like $1,000? Yeah, guys, like look, it's not gonna be one day, it's gonna be hard to get this much pulse chain for like $1,000. Right now, it's not, for the average kind of middle class, working class person, it's not impossible to get a couple, maybe tens of millions of pulse chain, right? If pulse chain ends up getting, to a couple cents, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cents, then that's gonna probably be pretty fucking nice in a couple of years from now, folks. So I mean, guys, it's early fucking days. These prices will not last forever. Dips are for chasing, not pumps. And also, I'm not sure if I mentioned this already. I think I might have mentioned this earlier, but fucking time is killing it on Fux. Like, look, there's this new pool. Someone dropped $100,000 into this thing out of nowhere yesterday. This pool has like 30 grand in it. This one has like $21,000 in it. So time is fucking killing it on Fux. And so it's kind of cool to see. The liquidity is quite high. There seems to be kind of a liquidity providing rewards seem to be quite high here on Fux. So, if you want to support whatever, token you like, and then you could always consider providing liquidity. So yeah, it's pretty cool, folks. Look, unless you guys got any questions, then we might start to wrap things up here in the near future. Dave is saying being a validator is underrated after We20X. 100%. The only issue with being a validator is that you got to be like a tech nerd, right? It's like buying yourself a part-time job. You got to be like an RH Maxi, right? Like he's a smart guy. He's a technical guy. I'm not technical in that respect at all. Someone once fooled me into believing that coding was fucking easy. It is not. I took a couple of courses in it, and my fucking god, is it like, it's like learning. It's learning code is like learning a language where you don't even know where to start, where to look. Nothing makes sense, and the language is constantly changing. Like that's what learning coding is like. And so you got to know a bit of that. You got to be highly technical when it comes to providing being a validator. And so that's not for me, but for those of you smart enough to do so, 100%. Ready for 9-inch launch, folks. Not only am I ready for that, I'm ready for Bintra. I'm ready for Liquid Loans, Power City, Internet Money, Fame, Fiat. All the shit is launching in the very near future, and we have a dip right before, a major dip right before these launches. So before we wrap up the stream, I just want to say, folks, dips are for buying. Chase dips, chase red candles, not green candles. Hold for the fucking long term. The bull market's going to get euphoric, parabolic come, second, third, fourth quarter 2025. So those people who buy dips and hold till then will do good. Folks, everyone, like and subscribe, share the live stream. I'll wrap it up here. Until next time, take care.